All right, brother. We are absolutely rolling. First of all, how are you, mate?
Can you say that again?
How are you?
I'm doing good, yeah. I'm doing good.
I mean, I've heard a couple stories from the man Kyle. And mate, you seem like a fucking inspirational bloke. So I guess we take you right back to the start. Like, where how'd you get into the whole fitness, training, sport, all that type of shit?
Okay, so I started like my fitness journey started with football. Like one of the reasons I was in football is because like I saw how football players were always in the weight room, and that was something that I really wanted to get into.
Hmm.
And then my freshman year of high school, I developed blood clots in my left leg, and like that caused me to sit out for football for a little bit, and I couldn't really do anything. And so my goal was still football. I was really ambitious in trying to get back into football. And then like my sophomore year, the following year, I had blood clots in my lungs, and like
Fuck.
they were telling me like football wouldn't be like a really good option anymore. Like it was really dangerous to play. And then one of my friends, like her dad was like a power lifter, and right, and like he had told me like I had really good flexibility, and like he would recommend me do weightlifting. And so we had practice, like we went over like snatches and clean and jerks in his garage. And then like it got to a point to where he said like he really didn't have like enough time to train me. Like the knowledge that he needed, it really wasn't enough for me. So he recommended me to look for a club, and that's when I found Hunger in the Wild with Kyle and Mario and the rest of the crew that's here.
Hmm. Holy shit, man! Like blood clot in the legs, and then blood clot in the lungs. Like that's heavy, man. Like, are you all set now? Are you all good?
Yeah, I am like I'm good now. Like a few weeks ago, they actually cleared me like to do any other like any physical sport. They told me I couldn't do any physical sports for a while. Like
Hmm.
they had me on blood thinners, and like when I first got on blood thinners, it was so like the doses were like so heavy. It was like to a point like if I sneezed, blood would come rushing down my nose and everything. Like that's how bad. Like that's how bad they said it was, because they was telling me that I might have a blood disorder where I have like a lack of protein C in my blood, and that would like cause my blood to be really thick. And so yeah, and then yeah, they just said I'm good now. They said they still want to run some tests though because like I'm not the only case where this happened. They said there were like really like there were other cases where young African American boys, athletic African American boys like myself, where they just develop blood clots randomly.
Hmm. Yeah, it's. I mean, if we can fucking obviously do the tests, figure out what's going on, then hopefully help next generation and people that kind of have similar symptoms and nip it in the bud. Like shorter. Oh, the cat has gone crazy. Nip it in the bud shorter, rather than people not having a fucking clue what's going on. Yeah, it's definitely crazy when you find these things out. Like you're going for football, right? That was your main goal. It was like, okay, number one goal, I'm going to go through football. And the next thing you know, doctors turn around and be like, nah, you can't do that anymore. And you're like, excuse me, like, like, what do you mean, type of shit? Like, this is what I do. This is who I am. Like, how did you? What was going through your mind during that? Was that did you basically turn around and was like, nah, fuck off, I'm going to do it anyway, or did you kind of go down in the dumps and was just like, what do I do now, type of stuff?
So like when my first blood clot, they told me like that's when they told me like reoccurrences could happen. They really wouldn't recommend it for me to play football again. But I
Mm,
was like, I'm gonna still do it anyway. Like I was still training for football and all of that, and I was being like really consistent. I was training really hard for it.
mm,
Then um, when the second one came in my chest, like they were telling me like if you have any type of reoccurrences, which did happen, they were telling me like we're gonna have to like stop you completely from playing.
Mm.
And so the second one, like I was in a the emergency room when it happened. Like they was telling me, oh yeah, you got blood clots in your chest, and like I started pouring down tears. Like tears started pouring down out of my eyes because like it really it was the reason why I wanted to play football. Like the reason why I wanted to make it to the next level for football, that I couldn't accomplish it because of these setbacks and adversities.
It's like it's not even something you could control, right? That's the fucking card you've been dealt, and obviously you didn't know it at the time until the hand comes around. And you got to play that card, and it's just like wow, like you can't beat yourself up about it, and you can't beat anyone else up about it because it is what it is, you know. And it's yeah, mate, like that is it's soul crushing at the time, but I mean, as one door closes, another one opens or more. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't be in the position you're in now, I guess.
Yes, sir, that is true.
Um, what? Why did you want to go through football?
Okay, so like at first I really didn't even like to play football, to be honest with you. Like I didn't like to play. Like when my mom used to sign me up for like youth organized sports, I used to tell her like that she didn't have to do that. She could just save her money for something else.
Hmm.
Then like I started to notice like that I was actually really good at it. And then when I was in middle school, we became homeless for like a couple of years. Me, my mom, my brother, and my sister. And my mom is a single parent and she's raising three children. And so we became homeless and like I told my mom I would make it to like the pro level so like
Hmm.
I could buy her a house and she wouldn't have to worry about working again, or she wouldn't have to worry about like when our next meal is gonna be, or like when where we're gonna put our heads down to sleep and stuff. So like that was the main reason I fell in love with football, because I wanted to make my mom happy.
It's a way out, right? It's a fucking way out, and there's many people like, especially I speak to a lot of people, right, and they see it from, I'd say, the middle class perspective upwards, right? And they see it as a business, they see it as a fucking sport, entertainment, or whatever, but it goes deeper. It's a fucking lifeline. It's like, okay, this is a way out for not only you, but your family, and then also your friends, and then the next generations through that, and your bloodline, if you want to say that. But it's a way out. And it's like, hey, you know, provide equal opportunity for everyone. And, if we get further enough through this sport, then you can end up mutually benefiting your whole family. And mate, I can relate for that so hard. I can relate to that so hard. So that's real commendable, but it's also real tough, right? Placing that on a young man's shoulders, and that going through your head. Like, how old were you at the time when you kind of thought, hey, I'm going to do this for me, mom?
I think I was 14,
Yeah,
14.
fuck, man. Like, it's like I'm having a conversation to a mirror. You know what I mean? It's literally like I'm having a conversation to myself, and it's thinking back, a 14-year-old thinking those things that shouldn't happen, right? But at the same time, you've only got to give yourself a pat on the back because you're in a position now where you are, and which is fucking awesome because you thought of those things when you were 14, and took the initiative to fucking play through the adversity, and I mean, kudos to you, mate. That's absolutely inspiring.
And then like another thing, like during that whole um, thing, like when we were homeless, my mom was extremely sick at the time, and like we couldn't afford health care. It was like at the point where she used to tell me, my brother, and my sister, like y'all better stick together because like y'all are all that y'all got. And she used to tell us because she might not wake up the next morning. She was that sick. Like we couldn't afford healthcare, and like she was trying to figure out how we're gonna get a house or like how we're gonna eat. Those were the things that she was worried about. She really wasn't worried about herself.
And I mean, you can see the strength in you from your mom. Like if you're seeing your mother like that, strong as fuck, going through whatever the hell she's going through, yet it's been like, nah, we're going to do this. We're going to make sure we get a roof over our head or get some food on the bloody table. If you see that from a young age, like, mate, you've got the drive that you need. You know, it's that whole intrinsic, extrinsic motivation type of stuff. Like that extrinsic motivation is great. You know, like money, trophy, whatever, like acknowledgement for the people because it works for people. But at the same time, it works for like a very, very short period of time, right? And then you have that intrinsic drive, that just like innate shit inside of you, whether it's in your head or in your heart or whatever, where it's just like, nah, I have to do this for myself, for my family, and I have to do this because I've got that woman right there that I call a mother, and she is an absolute badass, and I'm going to do it for her type shit. And yeah, mate, that's hats off to you. Well, I am wearing a hat, so hats off. That's awesome, man. So fast forward, um, football stopped. Okay. When did you make the decision to be like, oh, okay, I'll play around with this like snatch, clean and jerk type shit. I'll mess around with the whole weightlifting scene and do it as a sport more than an accessory for football.
Okay, so at the time, like even though the doctors told me like I couldn't play football, I was still doing like summer training for football because
Mm.
I just didn't want to give it up. And then like one of my friends, like her dad, he actually introduced me into weightlifting. Like in football, we did cleans, but we really didn't do snatching or jerks or anything. And then like my friend's dad, he introduced me into weightlifting. He told me about the snatch because I didn't even know what a snatch was. I didn't know like what a clean and jerk was. I actually thought it was clean and press.
Mm.
But he introduced me to it, and like we worked in his garage for a couple of weeks. He taught me the basics of weightlifting and like the positions and everything. And then he was telling me like it got to a point to like where he couldn't teach me anymore because he really didn't have the knowledge or the skill to like to put me in a better position for weightlifting. And so I found Hunger in the Wild with Kyle and Mario, the rest of them. And then like I saw like what really got me into it is like when I went in and like I saw Mario like just snatch 110 easy. I was like, man, I want to do that. And so like yeah, that's what really got me. Like just seeing somebody like throw like 300 pounds over their head like in one motion, like that's something that I think everybody would want to do. So yeah,
It's cool as shit, right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, weightlifting is usually you look at it and they're that weird person in the corner that's like kind of doing some crazy movements, but then you actually watch them, like you watch them do it, you're like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, that's really cool. I want to be able to do that. Yeah, it is funny how people come in, they watch someone snatch or they clean and jerk some like dirty weight, and then you just look at it and be like, all right, where do I sign? Like, yeah, get me in type of stuff. So
So
were you in Texas anyway, or did you like see them on internet or some shit or through the grapevine or whatever?
yeah, I was so I'm originally from Louisiana, from the state of Louisiana. We moved here after Hurricane Katrina because like all of our stuff got destroyed, like when we were living there from the hurricane. And so like I was raised in Texas, but I was born in Louisiana. And like most of my life that I can tell you about is me living in Texas. And I lived with my mom my whole life. So yeah, that's where I was already in Texas when I started weightlifting.
Ah, okay, wicked, yeah. fuck, hurricane too. Like that's see, like coming from the UK, right? Like you might learn that on the fucking news or a textbook or some shit, but these natural disasters that completely wipe things out, like it's completely over my head. Like that's not something we deal with a lot of flooding and rains and shit, but hurricanes, nah, that's something else, man. That's something else. How far is Louisiana from Texas?
Um, it's not that like a car ride. It would be like 4 hours. It's like the next state over.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. My geography of US ain't amazing, you know. Nah, let's go. So what age did you end up moving over? When was Katrina?
Katrina was in '05, and I was born in '02.
Ah, okay, cool. So you're like right young.
Yeah, I was really young. Like there was, I can't recall all of it. There were like parts that I do remember. Like I do remember like um people telling us to evacuate to the church. Like everything around the church got destroyed, but the
Mm.
church, everything like all of the houses, the apartments, the stores, and everything, all of that got destroyed, but the church. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember Katrina. That absolutely like that was raving on the news, man. I remember when that went down. Fuck, that's crazy. So, Hunger in the Wild,
Mhm.
you've kind of progressed through that real rapid. Like, I mean, personally, I think it's awesome. Like watching all your shit that's going up. Kyle and I converse over it all the time. Like, basically, it was just like, dude, you got to see this kid. Like, he's basically added X amount of kilos onto his lifts, and he's making it look like butter. Um, so how are you finding it? How are you finding like training for weightlifting and being in that environment where everyone doesn't take any shit and just wants to kick ass?
And it's like it's really fun. I can't even. Sometimes I can't even put it into words, but like, most of the time, it's like I'm at my happiest when I'm training. So, and then like on my like I really kind of hate having off days because like what I do, like what makes me happy, I have to take a break from it on my
Yeah.
off day. So it's like I don't know. And then like I'm training for X amount of hours, and then the rest of the day I'm doing nothing because like what I do, like what I like to do, what makes me happy. You can't do too much of it.
Mate, I feel you. I was exactly the same back then, and I'm still exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like training is everything for us, right? Like we did it for a sport, and now we do it because it is our sport. Even if you are competing in it or if it's a hobby, like it's still that number one thing that keeps you sane every day. It's like I need to go in and like touch a barbell for a few hours, like just leave me alone type shit.
You know?
Yeah, man. Like what's the environment like?
And okay, so it's I would say it's friendly. You know, like everybody's supportive of each other. Like they'll celebrate the smallest lifts in the gym. Like
Mm.
always like so supportive of every like somebody like even if somebody like hits a 1 kilo PR, like they'll still like celebrate that. So like it's just really friendly and supportive of each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's the environment you want to be in, right? That's where some crazy things end up happening. Like people end up manifesting some like whatever goal or whatever, whether it's, people coming in and wanting to go higher up through the sport and end up seriously throwing up some kilos, or they just want to come in and like de-stress from the day, you know what I mean? And then go back to their family or their job or whatever. Like it's definitely really cool to hear an environment like that. I can pick a couple in my time, like across the world, kind of training in, and it fucking makes a difference, mate. Like it really bleeds off into everything else, right?
And then like another thing is like you don't see nobody sleeping off. Like everybody's working, everybody's getting at it. Like some gyms you'll go to, you'll see like people. like sitting down on their phones or and like whatnot and stuff like that. But like that hunger in the wild, like you see everybody training hard. It's just like that.
It's training, not working out, right? There's a fucking big difference. Like when God, I used to when I used to train for a sport, right? Mine was rugby union. So, similar-ish to football training to kind of as a comparison, right? Um, and people will be like, "Oh, can I train with you?" I'm like, "Hey, look, are you here to work out or are you here to train? Because there's a fucking difference. Like there's 3 steps outside the gym, and I want to fall down them when I get out. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh well, I've got like an hour and a half. I'm like, fuck off then. Like I'm leaving when I'm done. Like I'm not leaving when your girlfriend messages you and you've got to go home and fucking make some tea or some shit. Like nah, I'm leaving when I'm done type of stuff. Because like we said before, like this is more than just training, right? It's your de-stressor, as everyone's kind of seen through the world these days with COVID now going into, everyone's obviously locked down and the world's kind of shut down and shat itself for a year or so. And it's this whole like mental health pandemic, right? Everyone's kind of feeling a little bit off. It's like, well, it's your de-stressor from that. It's to keep your mind sane. It's also to make sure your body feels healthy and doing something, giving back to yourself, and then being in an environment where everyone doesn't take shit. Like I think there's some beauty in adversity. There is definitely some pros to take from getting dealt shit all the time because you're much more of a mentally resilient human being, right?
Yeah, to add on to like what you just said, like I remember hearing one of my friends actually say, like before you take one win, you gotta take 1,000 losses.
Fuck yeah, mate.
That kind of rumbled me. I was like, bro, you right. Like, and even like looking back on my life, like I took all the adversities that I've been through, like with my lifestyle and my health and everything. And like now I'm at a point to where like I'm actually making good progress and I'm succeeding. So
That's major, man. That's major. At the end of the day, like, say, for example, we'll play down the road of you didn't end up getting those blood clots, right? And then you're like, okay, football is the only way. And you like cut all the ties to everything else and throw all your chips in one basket. Then the probability of it not working out goes up too, because you've only got one lifeline. And it's so true where you have to fuck up so many times to learn those lessons and to keep going, right? What was it? Steve Jobs, the guy who of Apple, he turned around and was like, was it Steve Jobs? Oh, I don't fucking know, man. I can't remember. But someone turned around and said, if I could go back and tell myself what it would take to get here, I wouldn't, because I'd be scared that I wouldn't do the work.
hey man, that's deep.
You know what I mean? You think about it, you just like, holy shit, yeah. Like if you could go back to your like 10-year-old self and be like, oh, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what you're gonna have to go through to get to what you actually want. Like just that slim probability of just gonna be like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through all that. You know what I mean? Everyone's got that good and bad wolf, like that bad wolf is telling you to like slack off and calm down and go like fucking party and all that type shit. And the good wolf is obviously doing the opposite, and you just got to feed that good one more than the bad one, I guess.
Yeah.
Mate, fucking being in that environment helps so much though.
And like having good coaches too. Like
Mm.
coaches like they always push me. And like and like another thing, like they always told me like you don't want to be in the gym where you're the strongest. And so like that kind of helps me, like because now I got something that I want to chase. Like I got somebody that I'm chasing behind. Like I want to catch up to that person. Then after I catch up to that person, continue to get better and stronger.
Mm. What's I mean, it goes with hunger in the wild. This what it says, like the wolf climbing the mountain is always hungrier than the wolf on top of the mountain. Because they fucking made it, right? They just sat there like chilling, like, you know, on a sun lounger or some shit, and you're just like, oh wait, you know, if you slack off, someone else is gonna be hungrier than you are, and they're gonna end up they're gonna find you, man. Yeah, it's so true. Like keeping that discipline, keeping that determination, and having those people around you, and it also helps where coaches understand what's going on in your head. You know what I mean? They empathize with you. They fucking know what's going on, and be like, okay, I got you, man. You know, no matter what, if you're having an absolute shitter of a day, don't worry about it because I know what to do. Or if you're having a belting day, it's like, don't worry about it. I know what to do. Like you just have a conversation with your coach and then kind of go from there. Yeah, that's so true, man. That's so true. Fucking love it. So what's the goals?
Um, okay. So
Take over the
right,
world, right?
that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yes, sir.
But right now, the goal is to go like junior national. So I like to set up my short-term goals to get to my long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when I was playing football, it was never to make it pro first. It was always get noticed, then get a college, to get a college what do you call it?
Scholarship.
Yeah, scholarship, to get a college scholarship. It was the short term goals first. Then so like that was so like right now with weightlifting, um, right now it's to get to junior nationals first, and then after that. So,
Mate, I mean, with the with a little bit I've been fucking following around and seeing the numbers you've been throwing up, mate, that goal's already hit. Like as long as it's already done in your head, like it's you're just waiting for the rest of the world to see, right? That's fucking I fucking relate and look up to Will Smith so much. I think he's a fucking legend. Um and he turns around and goes, "Oh, it's already done." Everyone's like, well, you know, what do you mean? Like, it's not done. Like, it's not actually happened. Like, oh no, in my head, I've already done it. It's just, I've just got to wait. You've just got to wait for you to see it. But I've already completed it and I'm on to the next thing. And having that like confidence in your ability and just being like, nah, like it could take me one attempt or it could take me 150, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, mate. Like, I mean, I see it. It's going to happen, dude.
man, and then sometimes like I wish I got into weightlifting sooner.
Mm.
I don't know. Like this is, I feel happier doing weightlifting than I did football. Like I think I truly found my peace with weightlifting.
Wow, that's nice, man. That's real nice. That's real nice to, but like kind of looking through, you know, the keyhole. I don't know a great deal about American football, obviously over in America, and especially like coming up through the system. Like everyone fucking plays football, right? There is like so many people trying to take up such a little space in the NFL or in college ball or whatever, like D1, D2, it doesn't matter. He's still playing fucking ball. Um, Yet weightlifting, it's like, yeah, a lot of people do it. But do they do it to the degree where they take it as seriously? Probably not. And there's the amount of coaches I've been talking to where it's like, hey, we need to get weightlifting as part of youth strength and conditioning across the board. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Like for example, I use the UK as example, right? It's a pay to play society. So if you go to a fucking posh school, you'll probably get everything you want. If you don't go to the greatest of schools, you won't get anything, which really does my head in, you know, because then you're shooting yourself in the foot and telling yourself to run a marathon. You know what I mean? Like it's the amount of kids that are going to miss out is going to be crazy. So I'm like, hey, we need to provide training, coaching for everyone, you know, for even if it's like youth centers or fucking in high schools or academies, I don't fucking know. Much smarter people will end up creating those legislations than I am. But everyone should have the opportunity to start young, right? Because then you create that proprioception, the body awareness, balance, coordination, strength, agility, all that type of shit. And then you know how your body works. So then if you do 2 years of weightlifting, right, and you turn around to me and was like, Alex, I no longer want to do weightlifting anymore, and be like, sound, great, no problem. And then you go on to another sport and you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from like midway, you know what I mean? All you got to do is learn the rules and get used to handling a ball.
Because
Fucking
like weightlifting, like it gives you so much like athletic ability.
fuck yeah.
Um, one of Kyle's friends, he always tells me like he always tells me about his friends Jeff Whitmer, how athletic he was, and all he did was weightlifting, and like this dude is jacked, like he's like very athletic, and it's like he said one of like his main sport was weightlifting, and so I think that just goes like hand in hand to like what you just said, like start a foundation with weightlifting, and then like let them branch on into like what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. I think it should be a base of youth strength and conditioning, right? Have a bit of weightlifting in there. I think there should be some gymnastic element. I think people should have to like work their fucking lungs and engine. Like, you know, I hate to say it, but I think everyone should run. I don't want to run, but you know what I mean? Like, it's, you just go, okay, basic human, like, sort of things that we need to do. All right, yeah, we probably need to have the ability to run and jump, and you know what I mean, and like move things around. And then like, so it's like swimming, running, like body weights or gymnastics, and then also fucking weightlifting. You've hit every nail on the head. And just teach kids how to do it. You know what I mean? They don't have to be Olympic standard. It's just like, oh, you're not going to drown in a pool of water. Wicked. That's checked off. You can run. Okay, cool. That's checked off too. It's like, oh, we know what to do with our own bodies, you know, with on the hands or fucking whatever. All right, that's the gymnastics. And then also we can move some weight. All right, that's the weightlifting. Boom. And then it's like, what do you want to do? Oh, I kind of, you know, enjoy the gymnastics element or whatever. Yeah, you go into that, or you want to do fucking basketball or ice hockey or some shit. It's like great, but you now have the sort of prerequisite skills already there, and then the injury rate would just rapidly decline. But hey, that's an ideal world, right? Fuck, I can't wait to see it. But I think it starts off with people like fucking Kyle and Mario and everyone at Hunger in a While. I think it starts off with people just doing it, people just providing the service, and then everyone else kind of turns around and goes, "Oh my god, like their athletes have got what? They're doing what?" And they turn around and be, "Okay, we're gonna either copy or provide similar things and add our spin on it." And then hopefully the rest of the world catches on. But mate, it's fucking hard. It's fighting a losing battle, right? What was the training like in youth football?
Um, so it was like most of the time it was a lot of body weight conditioning. Like when I started very young. I started like when I was probably like 7 or 8. So most of the time, like all they made us do like they made us run a lot. They made us do a lot of body movements like push-ups, sit-ups, and squats and stuff. But like they made us do all of that like with our football equipment on because they
Mm.
wanted us to adjust to like having it on and like moving with it on. So that's how it was at first, and like then like I got introduced to like just basic weightlifting, like bench presses, like weighted squats and stuff like that. When I was in middle school, and not a lot of people did it either. Like it was like a small group of kids that actually wanted to do it.
Mm.
So And I was part of that small group. Yeah, like they didn't make it mandatory or anything. They like if you wanted to, then you can go up to the weight room and lift. But they didn't make it mandatory.
What age is middle school for you lot?
Um, for middle school, I think it kind of varies. It varies because like from different states. Because like some states start middle school earlier than
Mm.
others. And like some of them start middle school like later than others. Like in Texas, in like plus the school district that I go to, middle school is like from sixth to eighth grade, right? And then like some other school districts, it's like sixth to ninth or like six to 10. So
Oh shit.
it kind of varies depending like where you are, like in the state and everything.
And then you'd end up going high school after that.
Yes.
Ah, okay, cool. And that's when then you'd end up going to college or community college or working after that. Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, we got like a two-tier system. Like our high school is just a lot longer. And then we have like your primary school or your first school or whatever you want to call it, where you're right young, you stay there until you're I want to say 12, and then you go to high school until you're 16. Um, and then we
Six
have to 16, yeah.
high school?
Yeah.
Man, we graduated high school at like 18.
Well, we got like between 16 and 18, we call it college or sixth form. So it's like you have 2 additional years what you can take if you want. You can either do like an apprenticeship or an internship, or you stay on and study like higher, so you take less subjects, and you basically take them a little bit higher, and then after that you go to uni, which is your college. um but it's not necessarily compulsory. Like people drop out at like 15, 16, go get an apprenticeship, kind of do that for 2, 3 years. It If you ask me, it does and it doesn't work. There's pros and cons with everything. But going back to my original point, like at least you had the option, you know what I mean, to go to the weight room. And I think that's something that, I mean, I'd hate to blanket statement the whole of the US because it's a big place, right? But for argument's sake, it looks like America as a whole has got it right with the fact of, all right, we want to produce one top tier athlete, two more great athletes, and three give the opportunity to find talent wherever it lies. So they have what it looks like you have like more sort of academy level like facilities where people can go in and start to train and develop themselves, like fuck relating that back home. Like, nah, I was trying to still train for an academy, and I was like putting rocks in a bag and using it as weights, doing dips between bins, and had a rusty pull-up bar and shit, and I was just trying to figure it out.
One of the academies that we have here in America is called like IMG Academy. And it's in Florida. And like one of their main focuses is athletics. So like they're trying to build like really good athletes. And, like they're like ranked number one in the nation for like almost every sport. And it's just crazy because like they're like one of them. I'm not gonna say their main focus because like they also do focus on like academics and stuff. But like one of their main focus is athletics, and that's just crazy.
I think I might have watched a few videos on that. Don't Do they specialize in like speed training?
Yeah, speed training, strength training, like they cover it all, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't, they just yeah, they cover it all, like from almost every sport.
Fuck man, that's literally incredible for like a fucking academy level. God damn, mate. Like, I mean, I remember fucking my local team. I don't know, fuck, we must have been 14, 15, something like that. And we ended up couldn't training on our local pitch, right? Because of whatever it was, ended up getting torn up or some shit. So we went to the local professional rugby team's training ground. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, we're gonna go to the fucking local pros ground, blah blah blah. Mate, you walk in and it looks like a bloody field. You know what I mean? It's a field in the middle of nowhere. You're like, hold on. I thought this is where the pros are. Yeah, you know the lads that you watch on TV. Yeah, they just rock up and train here, sort of stuff. And you're looking around, you're like, this is no better than what we train on. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But then also coming over here, right, to New Zealand, and they've got a little bit more of a system like yours over in the States, where they get a little bit more funding for the youths, because obviously they have the All Blacks, right, with rugby, and they're trying to bring up talent and bring it up that way, which I think is amazing. I think it's I think it's the way to go, because it provides kids opportunities to fucking get out of the place where they came from. It gives you a get out of jail free card, where it's like, hey, you know dedicate yourself to this. Obviously, don't throw away all the other chips. Don't like just sack off skill, because you're probably not going to be in the best of situations when you finish your sport. But at the same time, it's like, hey, take this, dedicate yourself, work fucking hard, and you're gonna be in a better position from where you started. I think that's the way to go, mate. I think a lot of the youths are misunderstood. I really do. And, coming from obviously a male mind, like I've been a fucking young male, like growing up as a teenager, like you've got a lot of like pepped up aggression, got a lot of like misunderstood feelings. You just don't really know what's going on. You feel vulnerable. You feel like you've got to look after your mom. I came from a single parent too. And it's just like, all right, you've got to be, I hate to use the term, but you got to be a man when you're a boy, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know who the fuck you are, and you've now got to take on an extra load of weight on your shoulders, and you kind of like skip your childhood, right? You just fast forward. You've got a young body and an old mind, which is great, but also shit at the same time. Like there's pros and cons, and I think a lot of people across the world in that situation, men and female, are fucking misunderstood. And it's just been like, hey man, like fucking offer them and give them the equal opportunity to get out of the shithole they came from, by allowing them to plow themselves into sport, and they no longer fucking are out on the street nicking cars and all that type of shit. It's like, now, because they want to get some sleep, because they want to wake up early and do extra training, because they know if they're going to do this and dedicate themselves, they could potentially go somewhere else.
And like back to like what you said about like people growing up in like single parent homes and stuff like that. It's not only hard on that person, but like it's also hard on the parents too. Like to see their child like go through something like that. And like, cause like the other day, like my mom, she asked me like, is there anything I wish? Well, she asked me like, do I think I was born in the wrong family? And I told her no, but I told her like there was one thing that I wish like I had in my family. It's like a stable, like two parents. And
Hmm.
I told her this because like it's hard for a woman to raise a boy to be a man. And so like, yeah, man,
That's what Tupac said, right?
yeah,
Mate, I fucking listen to that song 5 days out of 7 in a week. You know what I mean? And every time it fucking kicks me in the throat. Like, starts like, oh man, that it fucks me up, that line. It fucks me up, because you're just like, that could not have hit the nail on the head any sweeter.
expect me, man, cause like my mom's not a rock, man. Like she's always been there for me. Like she's been to every sporting event. And like even when I had like my blood clots and stuff like that, she cried harder than I did. So it was like, man, like it's like I don't even know, man. But it's like it's hard.
But mate, I'm telling you, fucking women are more mentally tough than fucking men any day of the week. And especially if it's a single mother, Jesus Christ, they will go to hell and tear the head off the fucking devil and come back for dinner.
I seen my mom do that many days and like crazy.
But that shit fires you up, right?
Yeah, it does. And that's the reason why I work as hard as I do. Like everything I do is for my mom.
Mm-hmm. 110%.
I
110%. I agree with you all the way home.
see how hard she works, and that just motivates me. Like, okay, so when I get to this level, you ain't gotta work. You ain't gotta work anymore. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Like once I get to the big level, then I'm gonna be taking care of you.
That's it, mate. That's all it is. Like that fucking drive and coming from a family member like so close to you, and obviously she fucking raised you, right? Coming from that family member of your mother, like that drive cannot be replicated. And you see it, right? So I'll see it. Obviously, I go through it. I go through it when I train. I go through it. I have gone through it in the past. When you kind of replay some shit, right? You wind yourself up to go through whatever training session you need to do. But I see it when I coach too. And I'm like, okay, I know where they're going. They're going to a really fucked up, dark place in their head, and watch what they're going to do to that barbell. And everyone's like, why? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, give him a minute. Give him a goddamn minute. Because I swear to God, he's going to destroy that bar, or she's going to destroy that bar. And the next thing you know, they just absolutely nail it. You're like, there you go. And again, you deal with that pain, you deal with that anger, you deal with the aggression, the stress, the mental emotions that we don't really know what they are. We deal with it, and we deal with it through getting that stress out physically into a bar. And I think everyone needs to fucking experience that. Even if it's like, hey, I don't want to weightlift. I'll be like, cool, don't fucking weightlift then. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But go fucking do like spin class or some shit, or whatever you want to do, yoga, if that's what gets it out. Like, get those stresses out of your head and do something constructive about it. Do something positive with it.
Yeah, man. Like, I always tell people like weightlifting is my therapy. When I need to let out some demons. That's what I go do. I go lift some weights, or I go do something that kind of incorporates into weightlifting.
It's it's like a universal language.
Yeah.
It is a fucking universal language, like a barbell. It is crazy. Defeat those demons, like I'll regularly, if I train out in the garage, or the little carport, it's just kind of got a roof over the head and like open to the heavens, but if I train out there, I'll regularly write on the floor, defeat the demons, just in
Yeah.
chalk. So it's like, your mind might slip. You might start thinking about something else. You might start thinking about work a little bit too early, or what you did in the morning, or whatever the fuck it is. You look down at the floor and it says defeat the demons, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is my time to have a fucking fist fight with whatever I need to have a fist fight with. Like, get in the arena and start scrapping it out.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you.
I do miss the days though when I played contact sport and I could take it out on another person. I know it sounds
Yeah,
really weird.
like, I do. Like sometimes I do reminisce about like playing football and stuff. Like, or like what could have happened if, like what if,
Yeah.
uh, I'm just happy. Like I'm happy with weightlifting. But like thinking about football, like sometimes I even like rewatch like football highlights. So I go listen to like some like Hall of Famer football players and like how they like what their mindset was when they were playing.
So true, man. Like, but the thing is, it goes back to what we said before with the whole fucking one door closes, the other one opens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mate, you got to take it. Like, that is the hand you dealt. You've got to play those cards until the fucking next round, and it's unfortunate, like how you'll probably end up start reminiscing every year when the season starts again. You know what I mean? You start seeing ball on the telly, or people start talking about it more, and it's like, oh, did you see the game? I'm like, fuck you. Like, I wanted to play in that game. You know what I mean? And I'll do the same. I'll do the same. But at the same time, you're like, hey, I've got all these other opportunities. I'm so much further along. Like, you're in Hunger in the Wild, you're pursuing weightlifting. That's opened up so much more. It's like, man, you can only ever be grateful from that, right? When you put things into perspective. That's it, mate. Like, you can only connect the dots looking back. So trust that they're all lining up. Another Steve Jobs' uh, quote, I guess. Quote. That's it. Yeah. Another one of his speeches. Wise man. A lot wiser than me.
One of the one of the people that always motivation is, you know who Eric Thomas is?
Yep. Fucking love that man so much.
I would listen to Eric Thomas every day. It was like, I remember like one time he was talking about looking at like bigger goal. Like the analogy that he says, like when a lion sees his prey, he's
Yeah.
not looking he's not looking for something easy to catch.
Yeah.
He's looking for something that's gonna make him work. And I feel like, man, like just like with weightlifting, I feel like that's making me kind of work harder than football. Like that, like it's gonna leading me to somewhere bigger than I think football would. And so, yeah, man. And then like another person that I really like listening to is Inky Johnson. You know who Inky Johnson is?
I don't.
Man, oh my! Like after this, you should go like watch.
I'm gonna have to write that down.
Like man, but he spit some like really good stuff.
I like I really like Les Brown.
Oh yeah, like his "I'm hungry" speech.
Fuck me, man. That gives me chills.
I listen to that all the time.
Yeah, when I first came over here, man, like, I don't know, I had a bit of a really weird 3 years before I ended up coming over. Like, anyway, I made the decision of to do it. Like, I was working for um about 7, 8 years to get myself into the position where I could fucking do it. And anyway, I got over, right? And inevitably I moved to the other side of the world. It's going to be fucking hard. Okay. It's going to happen. Just like, you fucking move from Louisiana to Texas. That's going to be fucking hard. Like, you've shifted home. Like, it's going to be tough. Anyway, like, shit went down. Um, you know, the the hours I was promised didn't necessarily come into fruition. Um, Payment wasn't as much as I needed to stay afloat. Next thing you know, I'm living in the gym, on the floor of the office because I don't have a fucking anywhere else to go. And I would listen to that hungry speech like 3 or 4 times a day. Like, fuck me, man. It would make me ready to run through a wall. I was like, you know what? Fuck this, man. I didn't come to the other side of the world to be homeless again. Like, I ain't fucking doing this for the second time. Fuck this. And yeah, managed to climb myself back. So that hungry speech is one of the greatest of all time, man.
That pulled me through like a lot of dark moments.
Fuck yeah.
Me and my home, like when me and my family were homeless, that was one of the speeches I would like in your situation. Like you have to go back to the jail, like sleep through the office. Like it was the same thing for me. Like I would just replay that speech over and over. Cause like I felt like I was getting some type of I'm gonna say superpower. I was getting some type of sleep, like just to feel better from that.
Hmm. Yeah, I always go to the same place, right? Mentally. I always take myself to my I'm in the corner. My back is against the wall. Like there is no fucking option. I don't have an option to go back. I don't have an option to go sideways. I don't have an option to do anything but fucking go forwards. And it's the whole analogy, right? You fucking fall over and you try and get up 100 times and you fall back over 100 times. What are you gonna do? Lie there for 3 days until you fucking die? Well, no, because that's it. You're over. You're gonna fucking find a way to get back up, right? So yeah, I always take myself back to that fucking speech, and I'm like, look, he didn't have an option. He has to find a way. I'm like, all right, cool. You fucking have to find a way. The only option is forward. And this whole thing that Kyle said, right? You either find a way or make one. Like it's the only way. Like fucking put a brick wall in front of me, and you're gonna see something crazy because I'm gonna run through the motherfucker. Mate, like, yeah, totally. And fucking another one who does me, Denzel Washington. One of my
And
favorite fucking humans on the planet.
um, I never really listened to any of them, but like he is a really good actor.
He's a fantastic actor, man.
Really good actor.
Um, Fucking fantastic actor. But he just turns around and it's one of his speeches, and I kind of adopted. This was years ago. I adopted his one of the things he says, and that's kind of my hashtag, if you want to call it that. I don't know. It's the first one I always do. Hard work works, right? It's like it doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what direction it's taking you in. If you work hard, it will work. Period. And yeah, fuck man, that's taken me through some fucking weird times, that's for sure. Like spending like 3 months fucking writing and writing and writing some like programs and all that type of shit, and then fucking I don't know, things don't work out, and you're just like, hey, hard work works. It will take you to the position you need to go. Just stay the course, mate. I really fucking appreciate your time, man.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure being on it. Really, this is honestly my first time being on the podcast, so like, it was a really cool experience.
Mate, you're always welcome to shoot the shit, whether it's fucking on the podcast or not. Like, fucking always welcome. And I said to Kyle as well, like, whenever you got junior nationals or whatever, like any local meet or whatever, make sure it's live streamed, and I'm gonna shove it up on a fucking on a TV and get some support going from down here.
So that would be greatly appreciated, man.
Mate, man, like fuck, like-minded people always attract. That's what I believe. Like it doesn't matter how many fucking dickheads you come across. It doesn't matter how many times you fail at something and obviously don't succeed. Inevitably, you'll find your people. Like I've got an athlete I coach at the moment. He's from Argentina, right? And he turned around to me one week and goes, "Alex, you just got to find your people." And that saying just stuck with me. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, doesn't necessarily matter what other people are doing. Like, if you live the way you want to fucking live and go after whatever the fuck you want to go after, your people will end up attracting to you, and you'll be their people too. And I think the world kind of needs a little bit more positivity like that. And fuck, man, I can relate to a lot of the shit that you've said and gone through. So, mate, whatever the fuck you need, it's done. What's on the cards for the rest of the day? What are you, 4 p.m.?
Yeah, like 30 right now. I got a meal prep, so like I gotta make all my meals for the week and stuff. Then I don't know, might just chill. I think they like, cause right now I'm at college sports, and so like I think they said something about like the 21.4 CrossFit workout, like the end part, like the deadlift, the hang clean, the deadlift, the clean, the hang clean, and the jerk. They said they were gonna attempt that, so I might try that.
Nice. Do you rest Sundays?
Yeah, like right now my training schedule is Monday through Thursday, and on Tuesday and Thursday I train twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
I train Saturday morning, and then I rest Friday and Sunday.
I every time I weightlift and don't fuck around and do other crazy shit or whatever, or just train when I can type shit, I always liked resting twice a week. Like, I don't know, I just can't do it 6 days a week. It ends up absolutely destroying you. But I always like resting on the weekends. I like doing Saturday, Sundays. But at the same time, a good Saturday morning session with the crew, god damn, that shit is the best.
And it's like most of the time, it's like those are the days where we lift the heaviest.
Yeah.
And the moments like the atmosphere in the gym, it's like it's crazy, man.
Fuck yes, mate. Super Saturdays or fucking send it or whatever you want to fucking call it, mate. It is the shit. Oh, I can't wait to have an environment like that again. I'll keep you posted on some shit. I can't say it on a recording. But I'll keep you posted, boy. And we'll throw around some tin very soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. You fucking take it easy. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Take it easy, man.